If you clicked on this message, thank you and welcome. This message is going to be specifically about someone that might have kind of like a off dynamic in a relationship. Maybe certain things are off balance. The first card that I see here is this Two of Cups, which is about a connection. This is about a particular relationship in your life, whether it is romantic or friendship. This relationship is starting to feel a little bit like a burden. Okay, the Ten of Wands, this bag is way too heavy to carry throughout these stairs by yourself. It almost feels like maybe you're the one doing too much. Maybe this person doesn't meet you halfway. Maybe you don't feel comfortable enough to even say, hey, I need you to step up in a different way. This Ten of Wands is the blockage and it feels quite heavy. It feels like shoulder pain. It feels like lower back pain. It feels like a restless mind. And it feels like unfairness. It feels like a lack of balance. It feels like a lack of, compassion. And that's a really important one because if you look at these two illustrations, you see such a kind of like, even like a past energy, like the Two of Cups, the couple, right, being all loving towards each other. And now you see someone carrying the burden by themselves. And it almost feels like maybe you feel like you got sold a lie. And maybe you feel like you're in a situation where you don't know how to get out or how to even again have the ground to express how dissatisfied you are. And it's really fascinating because if you're feeling like you can't speak, it just feels like you're not in the proper environment for yourself. It means that you're constricting your light and you're constricting your energy because you're not able to expand. You're not able to communicate. You're not able to articulate yourself and feel seen and feel heard and feel valued, right? Because the Two of Cups is all about value. And then the other card that I have here that is also an energy of endings is this Ten of Swords, okay? And the Ten of Swords is painful. It's a painful ending. It's basically something that, no longer feels the way that it should, or the way that it was. This is where you have tried everything that you have been able to try, everything in your power, and it's just still not working. It's still something not really clicking. And this Ten of Swords is where we really challenge ourselves to try to break out of a habit, break out of a routine, right? Because the swords deal with our mindset, with our logical thinking. This is where things logically start to make sense. Like, I got to move on. This is not working for me. Yes, this hurts me now, but I know that I have given it my all. That is the energy that I'm seeing here with this relationship or this dynamic that you have with an individual in your life. Okay, so like I said, specifically right off the jump, this is about a connection in your life. So whoever watches this reading, please take it how it resonates, because it doesn't have to be just romantic, but it is a connection. It is another individual that is making you feel not seen, right? And some of you guys are fed up. So that's why that Ten of Wands is showing up there. Like, you're recognizing that you're carrying this baggage on your own. So if you're feeling fed up, if you are in this energy where like, wow, everything's on me, everything's on me, everything's on me. I'm hearing someone saying everything feels like it falls on me. That's actually a good spot to be in, because you're recognizing something that's just not working. You're recognizing the unfairness of the situation. You are not in the energy of just simply enabling someone anymore. You really want to, see, okay, I can just let go of these bags and I don't have to carry this burden anymore. That is where some of you guys are at. But again, to break out of that burden, it requires a shift of mindset. And that can be very difficult because logically, now we get to acknowledge, well, this didn't work out. And nobody wants to feel like a failure. Nobody wants to feel like a connection or a friendship was kind of like a waste of time, but it's never a waste of time because you're gaining wisdom. You're gaining experience. You know how to recognize certain red flags now. So give yourself a pat in the back if you have been dealing with a very unfair and manipulative situation with an individual. Okay. So I'm going to break it down a bit. Okay. So I hope you guys are still here. If you are, let me know if this reading resonates with you so far. And let's go ahead and get started with the clarification. So let's see what Spirit wants to share with us. The Ten of Wands is the blockage in this reading, right? And I want to get a little bit deeper into this Ten of Wands. Why is this Ten of Wands still here? Why has it been so hard for you to let go of it, right? Let's see. Okay, so look, Two of Wands in reverse. So this shows me kind of like a block in inspiration and also kind of like a block in your planning. This is about your visualization being blocked. So before the Two of Wands, right, we have the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is that fire, that desire, that motivation, that instigator energy, right? The fire that gets the flame started. Now, without that flash, without that, burning fire, passion, drive, then we get here. This is like, for some, I want to say writer's block. I don't know if maybe you are a writer, you are someone that is creative, and this situation has completely blocked your creativity. And sometimes when we're blocked creatively, we cannot figure out, accurate solutions in our walking life. So I feel like there's this sense of we have to figure out how to get motivated and not let the disappointment kind of stop you from seeing that there is a bigger vision, that there is a bigger future. Even going back to the card, I don't know if you guys can see the little planet Earth right there. I mean, there is so much more than what you currently are experiencing. The world is your horizon. You are able to choose to expand, and that requires planning, that requires doing your research, that requires, again, kind of getting that igniting motivation. And that right now could potentially be a blockage because you're feeling fatigued, because you're feeling exhausted, because of how much you have had to carry on your own, right? So very fascinating energy. Let me know if that resonates. Another one that we have here, Page of Cups, and it's also in reverse. Again, this whole energy about, your drive, your connection to your intuition, to your dreams, to your dreamy energy, your bubbly personality feels dulled out, feels dimmed out, right? The Page of Cups in reverse can show you're feeling vulnerable, your feelings were hurt. Maybe you invested or gave your heart, or your energy, let's say energy, and you didn't receive the proper treatment. You didn't receive the proper acknowledgement. And now it feels like maybe there is a disappointment. Maybe there is a cup that feels spilled. And that cup that feels spilled was actually poured by your heart. And it almost feels like someone just tossed it like it meant nothing. And now you're here picking up the pieces on your own while you were promised that it would be different, right? So that's kind of like the scenario, obviously metaphorical. So please, again, apply to your life in the best way possible. But it almost feels like we're struggling with a big disappointment. And this big disappointment can kind of make a crack in our, I guess you could say childlike self, right? There could be a crack in that. There could be a wound that now is open that needs your attention, okay? Let's get one more. And we have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse also. So lots of reversals in this particular reading. What I like about the Seven of Pentacles is that it is a representation of patience, and it is a representation of commitment to something long-term, right? And this long-term commitment is your commitment that you have to yourself, that you have to your healing, right? To you making yourself the priority. Again, to recognize these red flags that put you in a situation, this Two of Cups, where someone made you feel seen at one point, but now they completely changed up. And now it's like, but why? Why did that happen? We don't need to figure out why did it happen. What we need to figure out is how can we get out of it, because that's what you don't deserve. The explanation doesn't make the situation any better. The explanation is irrelevant. No one should treat you like you are here to pick up the baggage on your own. That is not something that you deserve, right? So for some of you guys, the patience piece can feel quite difficult. It can feel like maybe you're putting your faith and your energy into something that just simply doesn't grow. It's not growing, right? Like you can't see the roots of a tree growing from underneath. You can only see it when it starts growing out of the soil. But that doesn't mean that there wasn't growth happening before that stage of the growth process, happened. So again, this is about having patience, about having this energy of trusting the process. And that could be a little bit challenging with, again, like the broken inspiration and motivation that maybe some of you guys are experiencing. But Spirit is saying, even if it is a little bit slower than what you think than what you would like for it to be, this healing process, it doesn't mean that it's not happening, okay? So that is something that you really should keep in mind when you go through those dark moments where you feel overwhelmed or you feel stuck or you feel like certain things are just not improving. Just know that that little growth, that little by little, remember, pentacles take time to grow, but when they grow, they give you that stability and that security, and that sense of safety that we all deserve, right? So definitely keep that in mind and ground yourself, because that is the energy also of the Seven of Pentacles, to be able to say, this part of myself needs a little bit more nourishment than that part of myself, to be able to recognize where your pentacles can be, lacking nourishment, meaning the parts of yourself can be lacking nourishment from you. Okay. So very fascinating energy so far. We're going to go ahead and get some for this 10 of Swords and see what Spirit wants to really share with you in regards to this 10 of Swords. Okay. So 10 of Swords, 2 of Pentacles in reverse. Again, this energy of prioritizing yourself. This is in reverse because you're not meant to be the juggler all the time. So if you have been juggling so much in your life, if it feels like, again, you're running on a very low fuel, right? It's just simply because you have overstretched yourself, because you have tried to overcompensate for the lack of this individual that has been draining you, right? So the Two of Pentacles just shows someone juggling so much to the point that at some moment you are going to drop your pentacles, or you're going to fall on your face, on your feet, whatever you want to say, because this is a temporary energy. It's supposed to be a transitioning energy. What comes after the Two of Pentacles is the Three of Pentacles, which is actually about collaboration. Okay. So you're not meant to stay in the Two of Pentacles trying to figure it out all on your own. You are meant to walk into collaboration, to build that trust and walk into collaboration. And when that does not happen, then you are experiencing fatigue. You are experiencing burnout. You have an overstretching energy. And Spirit is saying that's coming to an end. But it also requires for you to understand these patterns require for you to adjust them, for you to really pay attention as to why this situation has been allowed in your life, not because it's anything to blame you for, but because you need to understand where you could put a stop to it. Okay. So we have, oh my gosh, Ace of Wands. I was just speaking about this card earlier, and this Ace of Wands is showing up in reverse. So this is, again, the lack of motivation. Okay. Lack of motivation. This is a lack of drive, a lack of passion. Yeah. Some of you guys might be feeling disappointed. I mean, we're talking about the energy of the Two of Cups. This is, a huge disappointment with someone that you feel is important in your life. And maybe this person has not been able to, show up in the ways that they should, or the ways that you have showed them for them, So lack of motivation, I can see that, especially with the Ten of Swords being essentially the outcome of this situation. It doesn't feel good in the beginning, but it's like the picking yourself back up part that shows the true glow up, right? So, and we have here the Sun, okay? The Sun in reverse, it just shows me to not let your personality, okay? Not let your personality be dimmed by this situation. Don't shrink yourself by this situation. Don't put yourself in a box, or put guards, or what is it that I'm trying to say? Put your walls up because of this situation. This situation is simply a bad situation, and you're able to leave this behind without it being a factor in your current life, in your current reality. Don't let it be a factor. Don't let it influence you permanently. Don't let it scar you like that. You have power over that. Nothing should be able to scar you like that. You should still grow. You should still be able to love unconditionally. You should still be able to love fearlessly. Let's not say unconditionally. Let's say love fearlessly. The only unconditional love that you need to have is the love that you have to yourself. But to love fearlessly, right? To be open to new connections and love fearlessly. Don't let this situation take that from you. You know what I mean? Don't let the situation take that from you. This is just simply a learning experience. This is just simply a bump in the road. This person is not important the way that you think that they are right now. In a few months, you will not feel the same way. So be patient with yourself, okay? And we have here Queen of Swords also in reverse. I promise you the deck is not reverse. Like if I actually turn it around, look, Nine of Cups in the bottom of the deck, and it's actually upright. And this is telling me that subconsciously you have to get out of this comfort zone in order to welcome a blessing. Okay, so this is about being proud of yourself, right? The Nine of Cups. This is about being proud of yourself, knowing that there is a wish fulfillment coming your way, right? And also, this is about realizing that you don't have to go out there and search for something because you're lacking something. You can go searching for something simply because you are in a discovery of new things that might excite you. But you're not out here going to search or, moving around your life and making decisions based on what you currently don't have, right? You have everything that it is that you need. And then the Queen of Swords, let's not ignore her. And again, she came out in reverse. Okay. So, Queen of Swords in reverse, this can strike me as two different ways. This can be that person that's upset, right? You don't want to see a Queen of Swords upset. She's not very nice. She's very bitter. This person can probably have a lot of words that are not necessarily the most positive ones. But this energy of the Queen of Swords can also be your own energy. And you stepping into this energy of, guess what? I'm unbothered. Guess what? I have mental clarity and I'm pushing forward. And it could be that you also have a sharp tongue with this individual because, again, Queen of Swords is in reverse and she could be quite cold and quite ruthless with the way that she expresses herself. So just move with your discernment, okay? Revenge is never the answer. You should never try to get someone back. Let divine justice do that for you. The best revenge is you being able to work on yourself and you being able to move on as effortlessly as possible. And again, dust it off. Don't let this scar you. Don't let this person or this situation define anything in your life, okay? That is the best revenge, okay? To be unbothered about the situation, learn your lessons, cut your losses, and move forward, okay?